allergies are pretty prolific in that since radiation treatment for cancer, like a year after, I just started developing all these allergies. Like, now I'm allergic to egg, shrimp, multiple antibiotics that would have been fine before. And it's to the point, like, if I'm on an antibiotic for, I don't know why I'm particularly prone to antibiotic allergies, but someone forgot to enter that in, and now we get to play Russian roulette and refigure out which one, because nobody wants to dig down and say it's this one. So, they had me on one for a while whenever I had to have the catheter in after surgery, so I was sent home with that. I had that in for a good month or two. Almost, maybe like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It was a bit after I came home, and it was annoying, and I hated it, but it was kind of necessary, considering that my insides are Frankensteined. And where they're Frankenstein, like, they don't want that to build up in your bladder. They need that constant flow so that things can heal. Because they took a piece of my small intestine, and, they made ureters out of it. Other than the fact that the letdown hurts now. I mean, to be fair, my intestines, I feel like they don't know how to do anything but hurt. So there's that. But I just joke that it's a software update. That the hardware update came with the software update. Because, what are you gonna do besides have humor? But you see this on my face? Mystery allergy. Allergic reactions are exhausting. Last night I was throwing up. I am dealing with multiple issues at once. Trying to try out different foods that I used to be able to eat before without throwing up. Since the surgery, I've had so many issues like that. And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't seem to be getting better per se. Like, some foods, yes, and some foods it seems to get worse. All those years I spent building up tolerances to intolerances, gone. It's just gone. Ironically, lactose is the one I've had the least amount of issues with, but it still, causes more issues. Like, last night, I was like, okay, maybe it was the tiny bit of chili that I had in my hot dog, which was like a tablespoon of it, because my stomach is really sensitive right now, and everything gives me heartburn, including just plain crackers. So, all I did was curdle the milk, and the macaroni and cheese I made as a side for the chili dogs, to try and, take down how acidic it would be, or, give it some padding there. Not just for me, but for everybody, and, yeah. The cheese sauce, the powdered cheese sauce actually thickened in my stomach. That was unpleasant. And the milk curdled before it came back up. If you don't want to hear me journaling about this, Chris, because this is really gross, why don't you go... What?
I'm gonna do some school. I fell asleep.
Okay, are you actually mentally prepared to go back to that?
Yeah.
Or are you still kind of brain dead tired?
Sometimes when you wake up you feel a bit tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still felt that.
Are you mentally tired or physically tired or both?
Physically.
Physically? How do you feel mentally?
Not ready to take on everything, but ready to do some schoolwork.
Not ready to take on everything, but ready for schoolwork.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I need a few minutes so I can finish this up.
Okay.
And how about, you go figure out a snack Will I do this?
Can't be Takis.
No, it can't be Takis because you didn't do your schoolwork yesterday. Otherwise, it would have been Takis. To be clear, I'm not dumb enough to try Takis right now. I barely handled a couple of those before. And that was Russian roulette and pain. It was pain. So much pain. I like spicy food, but Takis are... There's no cushion, okay? For the stuff. There's no cushion for that. It's just burn your mouth. The flavor that makes it worth it is not there. To be clear, I don't get pleasurable feelings in my body for like any food. There is no food that brings me a feeling of satisfaction or contentment in that regard. There is only... The only pleasure that it is possible for me to get from food is flavor. That's it. Everything else is just a sea of unpleasantness. And it's a game of which thing is less unpleasant. Anyway, my gastro is going based off of a test we did beforehand. And there was something in my stomach that she biopsied, but it doesn't seem to be like cancer or anything, so it's just, you know, also I had, oh, what are you, no, that is such an awkward place for you to drool, no, I love you. Okay, now get your back paw out of my skin. You just tried to bite me in the face. Hey! I wasn't trying to move you, I was trying to move your paw. Such a brat. He thinks I'm trying to move him off of me. So he's giving me shit. You're such a brat. Spoiled. He is very spoiled. Anyway, mysterious allergic reaction. We don't know what it's to. I just hope that it's not something that we find in a bunch of things. This is a lot easier whenever it's something that I can just eliminate, because it's something that I don't eat very often. Whatever this is, I have a sinking feeling it's one of those staple foods that's in everything. This is not the first time the past few days that I've had this issue, and apparently I've just reached the point where my stomach has decided that to dial up that sensitive tummy thing that it did before by 100. I mean, I swear, I actually threw up way more than I ate last night. Because, like, I pay very close attention to my portions. And yeah, there was more there. Well, that might have been stomach acids, but it was also really thick. So I suspect that the crackers I had earlier that day were also part of it, possibly some other stuff. So I don't think my gastroenterologist is going to be very impressed with the test that's coming up to see what's leaving my stomach. And if she is, I will be surprised if that test comes up normal. And if it does, I would still very much like to know, like, why I can throw up things that I ate hours ago, and I don't mean just a little bit of hours ago. The test only lasts 4 hours. By that time, food is supposed to have left your stomach and gone through your tract. Now, while I'm sure there is some amount of stuff that can go through, I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't at the same time. Like, are things getting restricted? I don't know. Also, weirdly enough, where my stomach muscles are no longer connected, some of the scar tissue from my surgery has decided to do that in places. Not that I'm objecting, it just means that I have to be extra careful while cleaning in the pouch area, you know, because I've had that since I had you know, your stomach inflates and then it deflates very quickly, and you know, because babies. I've had one since then. I couldn't get rid of it because I didn't have a lot of room in my body because I'm so short and stunted growth and all that. So I carried out. Obviously, this put a lot of strain on my body, and in a lot of different ways, not just that, but in this particular way, like, my stomach muscles are not connected the way that they should be, so, yeah. Some of the scar tissue, though, has, and I actually have to be really careful, because it really doesn't like to be pulled on in the pouch. Like, it's trying to just connect it. It is just, like, fused, and, like, there's no pouch in that one spot, but it's pouch on the other side, which simultaneously is like, I'm not complaining, because it gives me hope that maybe there's other scar tissue in there doing similar, in a positive way, hopefully, only in a positive way, but also, I worry, because this also means that it is now more complicated to clean the pouch. Because it's still pouched on both sides, and it's not like a smooth transition, it's just scar tissue, and now I've got like pocket, like this little weird corner pocket area on each side of that. It didn't start like that. I'm not sure why the scar decided to pull like that, and like do that, but I'm not unhappy with it. It was just a nasty surprise. One time while I was trying to, like, I just carelessly lifted the pouch to clean under it. Like, I just move it without thinking. And I realized, and it was painful, and I felt around and I realized, oh my god. The scar has decided to fuse right there. And I shoved like towels and everything in there to keep it dry while it was healing and everything. And this is something that happened very quickly. Like, the skin just decided to tighten that shit up. It didn't originally heal that way. I'm not sure why it just did that, but it did. I have a bad feeling that this allergy that I'm dealing with right now, whatever it is, it's probably another staple food. I hope it's not, like, wheat. How much that would fuck me up. We can't afford that shit. Oh my god, we can't afford that shit. Throw me off a bridge. If it comes to that, just throw me off a bridge. 'Cause, like, we're already to the point where it's like, what can you eat? Bread. I can basically eat crackers or bread. I don't think it's wheat, though, because this isn't happening with crackers. It's happening with meals where there's, like, multiple ingredients. So I'm starting to have the sneaking suspicion it is either a common ingredient in the canned chili, in the barbecue sauce from another day where this happened. It's either that, it could be multiple things, but I'm leaning towards a common denominator, and I am, fingers crossed, desperately hoping that that common denominator is not tomatoes. I cannot take being allergic to another staple food. It's not as bad as bread, but it would still massively suck ass. I'd really love to know how our neighbors upstairs just afford pizza, like, all the time. Meanwhile, my stomach still hurts. I've managed to keep down some food, but whatever this is, it causes such a visceral reaction It's not just the rash, it causes like throwing up. I assume that there's some sort of inflammation too. I don't know exactly what it is. Both meals have involved cheese. But this would have gotten worse if it was cheese. I don't think it's milk, which is ironic because I actually used to have a minor allergy to milk. That one got better. Having to explain to people that an allergy and intolerance are two different things is weird. Which is also how lactose intolerance people like me get away with the occasional milk. What is it? My chaos gremlin. Yes, they got a pizza delivery.
I know, but I didn't know that until I came out here.
Yeah, it's Domino's. I'm a little bit jelly. Let me finish this up, kiddo. Anyway. I don't know. Because in both cases it was something canned or jarred. There are other ingredients to consider besides your base ingredients. So the only way I'm really gonna know poor pizza guy. The only way I'm gonna know is basically if I just eat fresh tomato, which we have some. We can slice it up, stick it maybe on some bread or something. I don't like to eat it plain, so usually cooked and stuff like that, but there are options for that. It's like a process of elimination, but it's a very intimidating one. I also seem to be having a particularly strong reaction to carrots, of all things. But that doesn't seem to be an allergy as far as I can tell. It just seems to be, I never digested them well. Like, it didn't take much for my poop to turn orange. My body broke it down enough to push it through, but not really, well. So, I am both surprised and not surprised at the same time that... Are you having a nice bath? That carrots are still a no-go and are a you go throw up bitch sort of thing. So, we have established that carrots are a no-go. They will make me throw up. Some beans are okay, but not too many. The laxatives give me more gas than poops, but as long as everything's moving, I guess it's supposed to be fine, even when it's not fine, because whenever I went in for my surgery, I had quote-unquote regular bowel movements, but my colon was so packed that it took less than like a day or two away from my surgery for me to start throwing up because it was backing up into my stomach. Poor pizza guy. I'm gonna try and call them and help him.